Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Okie Podcast. Hello, welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to Okie Podcast. Man, today I got a really great guest. I'm so happy that she's here. I'm so happy that she made time to come out. And I hope everybody enjoys this episode, and hope everybody gets to know her like I will. Haven't really met her, and I'm really happy that I got to meet her right now. She's an actor, director, writer, and founder and co-chairman of the Will Rogers Film Festival. My guest for today is Lea McCormick. So hello, Lea. It's really great to meet you finally, and I know that we've been trying to plan this podcast for a while, and so happy that we finally got to do it.
Yeah, thank you for having me on. Yeah, there's been some crazy excuses why I haven't been here, but ice and negative degrees.
Oh yeah,
had a lot to do with it.
Yep, yeah. I had to reschedule everybody.
But thank you for having me on.
For sure. I'm happy that you're here. So just for the listeners, you want to give tell the listeners about yourself, where you grew up, how you grew up, and just kind of everything that, started going towards this journey that you're on now,
Okay, wow. How much time you
Oh, we got time. We have time.
I grew up in a small house. No. I was actually born in Muskogee, but I grew up in Bixby. I'm a citizen of Muskogee Nation. I was an athletic trainer in junior high school, and then I got a full scholarship to college to TU as an athletic trainer. By the time I got to my junior year in school, I got mad.
Got mad?
Because for women, the only thing open at that time for athletic training was rodeo. And I'm not really a rodeo type gal. Mm-hmm. And so my head trainer at the university said, you can go into nursing or physical therapy. And that's not what I wanted to do. And I had played softball since I was 5 and wanted to go into softball or even baseball. That was where my heart was as far as athletic training, and that didn't happen. So got mad, left school, went and got my paramedic license and worked on the streets in Tulsa for a couple of years, and then went and started working in the ER, thinking the ER would be safer. Nope. I have lots of stories from guns being held to my head, stuff like that in the ER.
Damn.
But I loved it. Loved every bit of it. I had never worked with a closer knit group of people until I started working in film. And then being on a film set, it's not life or death like it is in the ER. But you're very close knit. You're very, you finish each other's sentences. It's really a nice experience. But,
Wow.
But I met my husband about 21 years ago. We got married. We had a son. He's 19 now. And I lost my train of thought.
It's good.
When I was a kid, let me see. I got to back up a little bit. Back for the acting part of it. When I was about 9, I grew up in a trailer park, and we had this really big back porch. It was a big, long wooden back porch. It was perfect for a stage.
Oh.
And I had read a book about Helen Keller and just became obsessed. And so I decided I was going to write a play about Helen Keller's life. So I wrote a play. I talked some neighborhood kids into helping me with it. We made 25 paper tickets. We went and sold all of those tickets to our play.
Dang.
I played Helen Keller because I was the diva writer director,
Everything.
So I got to say, so I can say now that I wrote, directed, and starred in a play that was sold out when I was 9. And after that, I didn't do much on stage. I started singing. I guess it was in high school. I started singing and continued on through college, and started doing karaoke and stuff like that. And then got a band together, and I actually sang country music for a little while. And it was really hard to keep a band together. There's so many people have different degrees of desire, and when you're obsessed with it and other people aren't, it's hard to pull it together. And then sometimes your obsession makes them not want to, repels them or whatever. But so I sang around different places all over the state, and I think I sang in Arkansas a couple of times. And I really liked singing, but I just liked the idea of being on stage, I think was a lot of the thing. But I had quit singing for a while, and was sitting in IHS in Sapulpa, and picked up the Cherokee, I think it was a Cherokee Phoenix paper, and Becky Hobbs was looking for singers for her musical that she wrote. And I knew who Becky Hobbs was from back in the 70s and 80s, and I'm dating myself, but I was a big fan of her music. I loved her personality and her songs and stuff, and she's a great songwriter. And I took the paper home with me, and I told my husband, I said, I don't care about being in this musical, but I want to meet Becky Hobbs, so I'm going to go to this audition. And so he was like, okay, I'll go with you. So he went with me, and I sang for Becky Hobbs, which was kind of scary.
Yeah, I bet.
But when I finished, she said, do you have a CD? And I started laughing because I said, I have all your CDs. And she goes, no, not your CD, not my CDs, you a CD. Have you recorded an album? And I said, no. And she goes, we need to talk. And so I said, okay. And I turned to the director and I said, he said, we want you in the musical. And I said, that's great. And I said, I want to be in the musical, but I don't want to act. I'll just sing. And he said, okay. And just kind of had this funny look on his face. And now I know what the funny look was. Within 2 weeks of rehearsals, I was bit by the acting bug. Completely bit. Just head over. I loved it. I love acting. I ended up doing that musical for 5 different years. Ooh. 5 different productions. And I went to Nashville to Becky's husband's studio and recorded an EP. Yeah. So, but that's what got me started acting again. I say again because I did when I was 9, but again.
Yeah.
And then within, I want to say 2 months of finishing the musical that first year, I saw an audition for a short film that was being shot in Missouri. And I sent in an audition tape and just did what I thought. I hadn't had any classes, didn't know what I was doing. I thought, well, whatever. And I sent in an audition tape, and the director called me and said, we want to give you the part, but I want to take you to dinner because we need to talk about details. And I said, okay. And so that's when my husband and I went to dinner with the director, and we talked about, it was a short film, but it was very professionally done. It was very, I think they were college students. It was a college film, but it wasn't like any other college film I've ever done. Oh, yeah. It was very well financed. Oh. And very professional set. They put me up in a penthouse in Springfield, Missouri in a hotel, and I had a driver. Damn. Yeah. After the first day of shooting, I come back to the hotel and I called my husband and I was like, things are changing when I get home. They didn't, but but it was they paid me for an extra day to come and play with the dog because there was a dog in the short film and it was supposed to be my dog and they wanted it to look convincing. Oh. So the dog and I played all day long, one whole day to get used to each other and it actually, it worked out. I think it looks convincing that we were, that we were close, but that film went on to go to Cannes Film Festival and which made me feel really good because it went to France, and so that's cool. And then it was in a film festival in Germany after that. So
Oh wow, that's cool.
yeah, so I was excited about that. My first time out, whatever.
Yeah.
And so then I started looking around for acting classes, and people, this is controversial because a lot of people think this is a scam or whatever, but I went through Actors, Models, and Talent for Christ, and it's a program for people that think they might want to do singing, acting, whatever. And what these people did, I'm very grateful for them. And what they did was they steered you in the right direction of, if you were a singer, they helped you find and make connections with people in that industry. If you were an actor, they helped you find people in that industry. And so I have a lot of really great connections because of that program. I went to the showcase in Florida. I can't say I bombed, but I didn't get an agent. I didn't sign with an agent out of that. But a couple of years later, I met with those agents that I had met then, and they all wanted to sign me. So it wasn't, and they remembered me from Florida. So it wasn't a bad thing. It was good connections, I guess I should say. And so, but they also tell you about the business side of the business so that you're not screwed over, so that you're not, there's so many people that get taken by this industry, by people that are just swindlers. And so that helped a lot. There's a lot of actors in the industry that are on regular television shows. There's a friend of mine that's on Jumanji. He plays Kevin Hart's other personality, Fridge.
Oh.
It's Sedarius Blaine. He's like twice as tall as Kevin Hart, but he plays it. Well, Sedarius went through AMTC, and so we're both alumni, and so we're automatically, when I told him that, we've started talking, and he's a friend of mine. That it's kind of a camaraderie kind of thing, and so so it's not a bad thing. And then I started doing. I was trying to think. I took acting classes in Dallas. And then I wanted to find someplace closer to home because that's quite a bit of a drive.
Yeah.
And so I started going to Creative Actors in Springfield, Missouri. And I was going once a week, and it's 2.5 hours each way.
Damn.
But
Wow.
you go where you got to go. I mean, there wasn't anything here, really. Norman is 15 to 20 minutes farther away from my house than Springfield was. So it was like, okay, which way do I go? Which direction? So I went to Springfield for a while. I think it was about 1.5 years. And then I started going to Actor Factory in Norman. And I still take classes at the Actor Factory. I love Christopher Alfer. I've learned so much from him. But now I'm taking classes with Tom Totteroff out of New York City. He has a conservatory there, and I was going to attend the conservatory, and COVID happened. So now I take classes every Saturday for 5 hours with him through Zoom.
Oh wow!
And then I take private situational comedy classes with Matthew Berry on Tuesdays, and it's just he and I doing situational comedy, and he's teaching me the rules of situational comedy, and it's the best hour of my week, hands down, because he and I are laughing to the point we're about to cry every Tuesday. So I am learning, but I'm laughing the whole time. It's hilarious. Yeah. It is hilarious. But that's how my journey came about. I don't know what else you want.
How long you been at the Actor Factory?
Let me see. I started taking classes at Actor Factory about 4 years ago, I guess. I've only been acting about 6 years now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I did that musical that I was talking about. It's called Nanyehi. It's controversial, but I did. They did a short film. We did a short film called Nanyehi that was the same premise as the musical, and I played one of the women in the film, but also I did all of the props and the set design for the film.
Oh, damn.
And so I'm very proud of that. I'm actually a basket weaver, and I've taught basket weaving for about 20 years, and done other things. I do gourd work. I do leather work. I make moccasins. I make all kinds of stuff. But
that's cool.
But so to be able to do the set design on a native film and the props to get them right was really nice. To not have to see, but we actually won with that film. That film went all over the country, and it was inducted into the Oklahoma Movie Hall of Fame. I can't remember if I think it wasn't last year. I think it was in 2019. Maybe 2018. It was inducted in the Oklahoma Movie Hall of Fame, which
really?
makes me feel good because I was a part of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
I'd feel good too.
Yeah.
Man, that's really freaking cool.
But yeah, I've only been acting. It's been about 6 years, I want to say, because this is 2001. Yeah, 2015. Maybe 7 years.
Dang.
So.
Yeah, and you're starting to get work.
I'm trying. Yeah.
I see you on your Facebook. Always. I mean, you just always have something to do, with that industry. And when I reached out, I was like, I don't know, she might be too busy to come on,
No.
But I mean, we just had stuff going on, like that ice storm and all kind of crazy stuff just happened. I was like, dang, can't even have a podcast. And everything happens.
Well, and I'm a hermit. I mean, I was a hermit before COVID, and then COVID gave me permission to dig even deeper.
I'm the same way.
But I've been able, since COVID happened, I have been able to do a lot of plays on Zoom.
Oh, really?
I've done a lot of plays on Zoom, and I directed one for Tulsa Theater in Tulsa. I directed one in January. It was fun. It was had an incredible cast. I was just like, wow, I wish I could get their autographs. But I got to do a table read for Dead Center Film Festival last summer, which was incredible. It was a play or a screenplay. I don't even remember the name of the screenplay. That's awful. But it was a screenplay. It was the screenplay that won the Dead Center Film Festival screenplay contest. And their prize was to get it read, do a table read online. And so we did the table read, but there was incredible, like Dee Wallace was in it. I don't know if you know her. She's an actress that's been around forever.
Really?
It's a period screenplay from the 1600s. And it was so much fun. It was just so much fun. But I've done several table reads this year. I shot a commercial last year. Actually, it was funny. Everybody's talking about a year ago is when everything shut down. A year ago, this next Tuesday, I was doing a Toyota commercial, but it's not, I don't know whether to call it a commercial. It's inside their dealerships. They have a video that talks about leasing your vehicle. I did that video.
Oh, really?
And I was recording. We were filming that the day before everything was shut down. So yeah, and I got to work with a dog. There's a theme there.
It's the best part.
I love dogs. I'm just going to put that on special skills on my resume. I work with dogs only.
And you got proof.
We do.
Yeah.
We do.
Yep.
We have proof. But that dog was so much fun though. He was funny, but I think he was secretly an actor. But I got to be in a Kia commercial in last January for the Super Bowl. And it was funny. We were laughing because I don't usually and this sounds snotty and I don't mean it this way, but I don't usually do background work just because I have done background work and it's grueling and those people don't get enough credit.
Yeah.
But I'm diabetic and so I have to really take care of myself to do background work, because sometimes you don't get meals for hours at a time and stuff like that. And so I have to really weigh but I got a call from my agent and he said, "You want to do a Kia commercial? You're going to be background." And I was like, "Yeah, I'll do it, whatever." And we were supposed to be, I can say it now, I guess, because it's all over with a year ago, but the guy from Tulsa, he did the Kia commercial. He's a football player, and he had been homeless, and he played for the Raiders. And the commercial was themed around that and everything. So we were all supposed to look like Raiders fans. Mm-hmm. And so I wore a black coat and everything, and it was cold. We were outside in the stadium at OSU, and I was cold, and there was probably 150 of us, I guess. Mm-hmm. And we were all supposed to go through the line because we're supposed to be crazy fans, And we're all supposed to go through the prop line. And they were handing out these different props to people, and like fake popcorn and fake hot dogs and, different stuff, like a pom-pom thing or whatever. Mm-hmm. They were passing stuff out to people, and nobody would take this big white afro wig. And we get down to me, and I wasn't paying attention. And the guy's like, "You want this?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll take it." And I didn't think anything of it. I didn't care. I was like, whatever. I'm not going to be seen anyway. I'm an extra, whatever. And so I put on this white wig, and it was cold outside. I mean, because it was in January. It was like January 3rd.
Oh, God.
And it was cold, and I put on this wig, and I had my hair all up in it, and everything. It was warm. Mm-hmm. It was so warm putting that wig on, and it stuck out like this, and just big. I looked like a Q-tip, and everybody kept looking at me and making fun of me, and stuff like that while we were getting ready to shoot.
Yeah.
Commercial come out. They had taken however many of us, like 100 of us or whatever. They would have us in a group, and they would film us, and then they'd have us move to this other group, and they would film us, and they'd have us move to another group, and they would film us, and like that. Mm-hmm. I kind of had an idea what they were going to do, but I didn't know what exactly it was going to look like. When the commercial come out, my husband and I paused it on the TV. I'm on the screen about 50 times. And the reason I know this is because I could see that big white afro.
Yeah.
So that's I was in a Super Bowl commercial. Nobody knows it was even a person, but
it's there.
But it's
there.
Yeah.
Who's the Q-tip? No, just kidding.
Exactly. No. Exactly. I still have that wig too. The guy wouldn't take it back.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Should have brought it.
I should have.
Explain your play that you did on Zoom.
Oh, the one I directed?
Yeah. How did all that go with the Zoom?
Well, it's really cool. I'm not sure the technical aspects. Tara Moses is a director and playwright in the Tulsa area. She's a Seminole citizen, and she actually just announced that she was going to Brown for her graduate school next fall. But anyway, mm-hmm. I'm really proud of her. But she's so talented. But she is the artistic director of Tele-Tulsa, the theater in Tulsa. And that Tele-Tulsa is a theater that promotes Native American and indigenous people, their plays and stuff like that. And I think the season's over now. It was like fall and part of winter, and it's over now. But mm-hmm. she asked me she had been my mentor in directing a couple of years ago. And she asked me to direct this play, and it's a play by Carolyn Dunn. And it's called Three Sisters. And it was set in Louisiana in the swamp lands. And it's about these sisters coming home because their aunt that raised them is getting ready to pass on, and they're coming to say their farewell, mm-hmm. to. And it's a very well-written play, but it's very sophisticated in its writing. Dr. Carolyn Dunn is a professor and incredible talent as far as writing, and I've worked with her several times. She's a great lady, and it was very, very poetic, the play is. So it's not in your literal day-to-day speech, some of it. And so she writes a lot. Are you familiar with Mary Catherine Nagel? She's a playwright too, a Cherokee playwright.
A little bit.
Mary Catherine Nagel has a play called Sovereignty that is written where you'll have part of the scene will be contemporary time and part of the scene will be 1600s. Part of the scene will be contemporary, part of it will be 1800s. But I mean, and the same characters are in each, but they change personalities. Mm-hmm. And Carolyn does that too. And so on Zoom, it was a little tricky to try to switch from contemporary to another realm just on, because you're limited with Zoom. Everybody's in a little Brady Bunch block, you know?
Yeah.
And so I tried to do it with backgrounds, changing their backgrounds and changing the tone on their faces. Mm-hmm. If that, are you familiar with the Zoom and it has the different...
I'm just now getting into Zoom, so... Okay.
I almost feel like I'm a Zoom expert as far as like showing stuff. But,
so teach me.
But I could. but in the... I don't want to give away the play, but there's a person in the play. I can give this part away because it kind of comes up first. There's a person in the play that's not exactly alive, but they're still talking to everybody. And so to portray that, and that was Maddie Easley. She's an actress in, I think Maddie lives in New York. She lives back east somewhere. Anyway, great native actress. I had cast her because she fit exactly the description of the character. And so she got to be a ghost during the entire play. Mm-hmm. And since she was the ghost and I couldn't tell people that, and her character never says anything about being a ghost, but I wanted people to know that her tone was different on her screen. Like I had her grayed out.
Oh, okay.
And her background was the same background as everybody else's, but it was grayed out. Mm-hmm. So that you could tell there was a difference, but you didn't know why. And then it would start describing, you know, it would help describe her later.
Yeah.
Help give it an indication later. And then like when the matriarch does pass away, she switched to the gray so that you could tell, you know, she died and, oh, look, she's the same color as Maddie. Yeah. You know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it was really interesting. We only had, since it was just essentially a table read because we didn't memorize, nobody memorized their parts. They read their parts, but we only had 2 rehearsals.
Oh.
But the actresses that were in it, because it was all females except for one gentleman actor, but all the rest of them were actresses. They're all so established in their careers that I didn't have to give them. I mean, they made it easy on me, I guess I should say, because they were just great. Yeah. They were incredible. They were just Marissa Carr. She's a playwright and an actress from, I want to say Wisconsin. And she played one of the characters, and her character in it was an actor. And so I had her background be a theater stage the whole time, because she was at the end, and I'll give it away. Anyway, at the end of it, you find out that during the whole entire play, it was just Marissa's character doing a one-woman show, talking about all these people. So they weren't actually there. She was talking about them. So that's why she was on a stage the whole time. Mm-hmm. And so it was, anyway, but it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Wow.
But I've directed kids before. I've directed kids in musicals and stuff. I just had never directed adults.
Yeah.
So that was,
especially through Zoom.
Yeah. That was a little different.
I was trying to figure out, like, because you said that play through Zoom, and I was like, well, how'd that work? You know.
Well, we met, you know, and we did our rehearsals and everything, and then the night of the performance, we all went to a different Zoom channel, whatever, that we had before, the one that Tara gave us, and then she flipped it and put it on Facebook Live. So you can find it on Facebook Live on Teletulsa page.
Oh, really? I'm going to have to check that out.
But it's from January. I can't remember what date. January 20 something.
Everybody check that out.
Yeah.
Teletulsa.
Yeah. But Tara's magical that way. I don't know how she got it from Zoom to Facebook Live, but I think there's an option on the computer, but I'm not sure. I think you have to be the host to see all that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah. But, yeah. I'm just now starting to get into Zoom, reaching out to people outside of the state. So,
yeah.
And then I did one with two of my buddies on their, well, they have a podcast too. And we did one. That was my first time. I didn't mess with Zoom or anything. And we got on and I was trying to sit there and control it. And I was recording and I was like, it's really weird.
It is weird.
Because I was just getting used to this, and then now it's like on that, and then you could see my big old face. So it's like, oh God.
I did a play. I guess it was in September, October. I did a play on. Well, it was a play, but we shot it like it was a film on Zoom. And Daniel Lehman Smith is the writer director, and it was at a play festival, but. When we got finished with it, it was at a play festival, but he shot it with Zoom like it was a film. I mean, like the scenes that I was in, he would schedule us, like a shooting schedule for a film. He would schedule us, and like Kenny Ray Ramos is an actor out of California, and he's great. Remember his name because he's going places. He played my grandson in the film play, and it's funny because he's not young enough to be my grandson and I'm not old enough to be his grandma, but you'll see why when you see the thing, because I played his grandma that had passed. And so he's remembering me when I was younger. But, but anyway, gotcha. But one of the scenes I was in, I had to go out into my backyard and dance. And so I had to take my computer outside and set it up so that Daniel could record me dancing in my backyard with Zoom.
It was Zoom.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? But it worked, and it looked good on the thing. I was like, wow. So yeah, almost anything's possible with Zoom. But,
shout out Zoom.
Yeah. No. And then I was in a play. Another play for the Same Boat Theater Collective. They had a play festival, and I was in a play for them, and there was 4 of us in the cast, and we ended up going. This was about the same time. We ended up. Same Boat Theater Collective is a theater in San Francisco that all of the plays have to do with environment. And saving the environment and environmental issues and stuff like that. And so it's really interesting. A lot of the stuff is really interesting. And Jay-Z Bates was the playwright for the play. And I auditioned for the play. And I've done plays for Jay-Z Bates before. And hers are even more poetic than Dr. Carolyn Dunn and Mary Catherine Nagel. Jay-Z's plays are very poetic. And they're not literal. They're very... I don't know what you call it, fantastical or what, I don't know what you call it. But anyway, I auditioned for her play and got a part, and there was 4 of us in the play, and we did that play festival. And then because of that play festival, some people at a play festival in India saw it and had us perform in India on Zoom. So I wasn't in India, but... But I was in India on Zoom. We played it, and it was funny because it was like 3:00 in the morning is when I had to perform.
Oh my God.
It was weird. I mean, I did it, but it was just, it was like, okay, everybody in my house is asleep. Except me. But then another play festival in India invited us to come this March. Not come, but come on Zoom. Yeah. This March and do it again.
That's cool. So that's really neat.
Yeah. It's only like a 7-minute play, but but it was funny. It was, funny, weird, but But it's been interesting, the whole Zoom thing. So
That's good though. Like
yeah,
even in this like COVID times and everything, you're still
stuff's still moving.
yeah, you're still finding a way to
Yeah.
keep doing what you want to do with acting and everything, man. I think
Yeah.
that's really cool.
I had my first LA audition last April on Zoom.
Mm-hmm.
I have a Great Dane.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She sounds like Chewbacca. And my biggest fear was during the audition, she was going to talk to the screen. And she did in the middle of the audition. Needless to say, I didn't get the part.
Oh.
But it was, COVID had just happened and we just started getting the idea of we can do this stuff on screens. And I had taken over our dining room because there was no other room in our house to put my computer in to do my audition stuff and everything. And I've come a long way, thank goodness, with my equipment and stuff like that. I didn't have hardly anything to begin with. Now I have more stuff, but I did another LA audition, or not LA, New York audition. I guess it's been 2 weeks ago when we had no water.
Oh yeah.
And I talked my husband into renting a hotel room in town. And he drove me because I was not going to drive in the snow and ice. But he drove me and I spent the night in the hotel room, set up my computer, did my audition in the hotel room, and then came home. So, but, you do what you have to do. But I haven't heard from that yet. Fingers are crossed because it's a really good part. But
man, yeah, I hope you get that, man. Yeah. God.
So
I really like, just Oklahoma people, out there doing things that they want to do, and
yeah,
for real, like fingers crossed. I hope you get that.
Well, and represent, there's so many people that think, especially I laughed. I mean, I was really happy with the McGirt decision, that we're a reservation and all that. I was really happy with that, but it also made me laugh because back in college, my freshman year roommate, they had hooked us together. That was back before, computers and stuff like that. They had hooked us together and told us about each other and said, you can write to each other before school starts. And my roommate was from Minnesota. She was from Minneapolis. And her first letter to me was, do you live in a teepee? And I was like, do people in Minnesota not live in like now?
Yeah.
Why would you think we're, that we're any further back than you are,
Yeah.
And so when the McGirt thing happened, I thought, oh Lord, now there's going to be even more people. They are a reservation. They are going to live it,
Now's their time to live in teepees.
Maybe they'll get cars, or whatever.
Oh my God.
So, but yeah, I'm hoping, especially with the film industry looking at us now and wanting to shoot here and shooting here now, that they will realize that we aren't still in the 1800s, that we have come, we are modern. We're not
stuck in the old West or whatever,
right. So that's why I'm hoping. Maybe I don't know, but I guess it says more about people that don't think that than I don't know. But there's a lot of, I was noticing the other day, there's a lot of celebrities that come through Tulsa that I had no idea. Come through, which I was in the airport. It's been a few years ago, but I was in the airport and Dennis Rodman was standing next to me in the airport. And it was right after he had done something really like cringy. I don't remember which thing it was. And he was standing next to me and I was like, I think I'm going to walk over here. Because I didn't even want him making eye contact with me.
That should move away from you.
Yeah. But yeah. But I Jennifer Garner she has family and a farm in I can't remember the name of the town. It's northeast. It's up there by Inola, but I can't. Locust Grove.
Locust Grove, for real?
Yeah. She has family that lives there, and she has a farm there, because she makes like organic baby food now or something. And yeah, so she comes through all the time.
Damn, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Everyone leave her alone.
I know. That's what I'm like.
Nobody bother
That's
her.
why Garth Brooks lived in Owasso for so long. He said people left him alone. I saw him at Taco Bueno. I can't tell you how many times I saw that man at Taco Bueno.
Really?
Yeah. And I did never, I think one time I just kind of waved at him like, hey, how you doing? But nothing, because I was like, I don't want him to be.
Yeah.
We talked about this film that I can't talk about, but I'm going to talk about this one part of it. This one celebrity that I worked with about a year ago, we were in a public area getting ready to shoot, and this person had to come on set, hat, sunglasses, coat, and he had the collar pulled up, so nobody would recognize him. He gets there, he has the wrong pants on for the scene. So I had to wait for wardrobe to bring him the right pants. The bathroom in this public place was about 40 yards from where we were. He couldn't go to the bathroom to change clothes because they were afraid someone would recognize him.
Oh, yeah.
So he had to stand in the back of the room with security standing in front of him and change his pants.
Oh, man.
How undignified. I mean, I felt so bad because I was like, I can go to the bathroom anytime I want. I mean,
Yeah.
I thought, wow, I don't know.
Yeah, when you actually think about it, it's like, can't even go to the bathroom, can't even go out anywhere, without somebody. And that's the thing, like, whenever who did I meet? I lived in New Mexico, and there's a place called the Chavez Center. It's a big old gym. And this one time I went there, and Terry Crews was there. But I walked in, and there was this giant dude, and he was lifting all these weights. Strong dude. And I was like, oh, that might be like a professional athlete or something. And then anyways, I got on a treadmill, and I started running or whatever, or jogging. And he got like right by me, and he had his hood on, though. It was tied on, and it was tied real tight. So I didn't know it was Terry Crews at the time. I just thought like, oh, like whatever. And in that gym, like, you can't, like, when you deadlift and then you push the weights down, it's real loud. You can't do that.
Right.
Anyways, they're letting him do whatever he wanted. So I was like, oh man, it might be like a pro athlete or like a college athlete getting ready to go somewhere, And then he got on the treadmill next to me, and I looked, and the dude's like sprinting, like just going hard. He has it on 8.5 miles per hour.
Oh my gosh.
Running. And I had my mile in, so I was like, Jesus, this guy's like going, and he ran for a long time. And then anyways, he goes to this other part, and it's like it was an aerobic room, but it was closed, and he was in that little corner. Anyways, I'm like grabbing towels because I was on something, I was gonna wipe it down, and I go up and I go to that towel thing, and I see his face, and I'm like, oh shit, that's Terry Crews. And then like I'm like kind of starstruck because I'm a fan of his. Like, he's funny.
Talented.
Yeah, he's a really funny dude, and nobody knew it was him though because he had his hoodie on, and he was like moving around really fast, so you wouldn't recognize him. And anyways,
not making eye contact.
Yeah, and then I walked up to him, and I was like, are you Terry Crews? Like, really, like, quiet. And he goes, like, he looked around, he goes, who wants to know? And then I was like, oh, that's cool, and I didn't like bug him or anything. And I was like, cool, man. I was like, whatever, nice to meet you. I didn't ask for a picture, because I felt like he wanted to be there and work out in peace, not have anybody bug him. So anyways, he left, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. He's big, like, he's real tall, like taller than me, like just built,
he looks
just
kind of
jacked.
big on TV, but you never know.
Yeah.
Because like Dennis Quaid,
What?
he ain't near as big. He ain't near as big as he looks like on TV. Not even. I could whoop him. I was standing next to when he came to town for I Can Only Imagine a few years ago.
Oh yeah.
I worked on that, and he came downstairs. He came down the elevator and came out of the elevator, and I was like, that guy has Dennis Quaid's face, but I just kept looking at him like, what the? And I walked up to him, and he's not any taller than I am.
Really?
I promise.
What?
And it says he's 6 foot on IMDb, but I'm like, that man's not any taller than me, and I'm not 6 foot tall. He's not very big at all. I was totally shocked. Totally shocked. Now, one person that is big, I went to the Western Heritage Awards cocktail party a couple of years ago at the Western Heritage Museum in Oklahoma City.
Mm-hmm.
And I went there specifically to meet Barry Corbin because I'm a huge Barry Corbin fan and have been.
Mm-hmm.
Thank the Lord, Barry Corbin is as nice as I thought he was. And we're friends now. I've been to his house. I mean, he's an incredible, wonderful mentor. I can pick up the phone anytime I want and call him, and he gives me all great advice, and I just love him to death. But this isn't, I mean, I was excited about meeting him, but a friend of mine is a casting director in Texas, and I was following her around at this big cocktail party. And another actor friend of ours named Mike Ronnie was in front, and she's real short, and then Mike was standing behind her, and then I was behind, and we were in line walking because it was easier to walk through the crowd in a line, if we stood in line. Mm-hmm. And so we're walking through this, and people are just crowded like sardines, and I couldn't see much because I'm not that tall. And they stopped, and the crowd stopped, and we were looking for Reba McEntire because she was supposed to be there. Mm-hmm. And I'm trying to look over people, and I can't, hardly see or anything. And I tapped on Mike because he's in front of me, and I was like, why'd she stop? And he said, I don't know. And so I turned to the lady next to me on my right, and I said, do you know why the line stopped? She said, no. And I said, okay. So I leaned over this way, and I grabbed this guy's arm. Mm-hmm. And just as I was getting ready to ask him why the line stopped, I looked up, and it was Kevin Costner.
Oh, what?
And I went, oh, shit. He turned and looked at me and busted out laughing. I said, I'm sorry. It's fine. And he was laughing, and whoever was with him took his arm and took him away. But that's how I met Kevin Costner. But he's really tall.
Is he?
Yeah. But I said, oh, shit, to him. So I'll probably be getting the call to be on Yellowstone soon. Which, I have a friend that's on Yellowstone, and I keep telling him.
Yeah, already, please.
Can't you tell him you have people that can be on there? but yeah.
Kevin Costner.
Yeah,
that's cool. He was there.
I cussed at him. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh shit.
It was the year he got inducted that year.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh nice.
Yeah. And last year it was supposed to be Kurt Russell and Robert Duvall, and because of COVID they canceled it. Mm-hmm. But I read the other day that they're going to add them to this year's.
Oh.
So, and Barry Corbin he's already been inducted there. Mm-hmm. And so he's like a lifetime member now or whatever. And so he gets to come back every year, and he comes back and he like helps present and stuff like that. So him and his wife will be there.
Oh, nice.
Too, so.
Hell yeah.
But I met Rex Lind, who's now dating Reba McEntire.
Oh, really?
I met him then. He's a really nice man. And Buck Taylor. And, which funny, Barry Corbin, Buck Taylor, and Rudy Ramos. Rudy was supposed to be there that year, and he got sick. He's a friend of mine too, Rudy Ramos. Mm-hmm. But they all have the same agent I do, so. Like, you guys need to tell her that I'm a package deal with you. Yeah. So whatever parts you get, I need to go with you. but no.
Damn. Oh man, that's awesome.
I have a friend that's a writer here in Broken Arrow that wrote a scene for Barry Corbin and I to do together.
Oh really?
So I'm gonna see if I can go to Barry's sometime soon and shoot the scene with him. I think it'd be fun to put on my website and stuff like that. I think it'd be good because I've always wanted to work with him, and if I can't get other people to pay me to work with him, then then I'll just work with him on my own.
Yeah. That's the way to do it.
Yeah.
That'd be really cool.
Yeah. And he's a big Will Rogers fan, and so that's the reason I went to the Western Heritage Awards, is to meet Barry Corbin, because I knew he was a Will Rogers fan, to see if he would help us with our festival.
Oh.
And he has and loves it and has continued to help us. So
that's really good.
So
that's cool. He's like so like nice and everything, and like you said, you know,
he's so laid back. It's not even funny. I mean, I don't know even how to. So many people tell me he reminds me of my dad, and he reminds me of my dad too. I mean, he's so fatherly, but he's so laid back and so kind and just generous, just completely generous. And this is a funny story. I probably shouldn't speak ill of the dead, but you know who Wilfred Brimley was?
Oh yeah.
People think Barry is Wilfred Brimley sometimes.
Oh, really?
And he laughs because he and Tommy, I'm doing this slow because I'm trying to get it right because Barry told me the story. He and Tommy Lee Jones and Wilfred Brimley were working on something together in, I want to say San Antonio or Houston. And they went out to eat at a cafe. And Tommy Lee said, Barry went to go sit down with Wilfred. And Tommy Lee said, no, you don't do that. We'll sit over here. And they sat down, and Wilfred was sitting by himself eating because they were on like their lunch break or whatever. And Barry said pretty soon, not too long after they sat down, somebody approached Wilfred Brimley. And he said some cuss words and told them to leave him the blank alone.
Damn.
And Tommy's like, see, that's why I told you not to sit over there. He said, but that's what he was like, that he was not approachable. He did not like his fans. He does not. And he said, so it really kind of hurts his heart when people think he's Wilfred Brimley. They don't know that, but he's like, no, I love my fans.
Yeah, I love y'all.
Because he does. He loves. He's a great guy. And
yeah,
he will stop forever. I've been out with him places, and he will stop forever and sign autographs and take pictures and stuff.
Oh,
like
that's
that.
freaking cool.
And so he never has a problem doing that. So
yeah,
he said I wouldn't be where I'm at if it wasn't for people liking me. So that's the way he gives back. So.
Damn.
He's a cool guy.
Yeah, that's how that's how I would be.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I've never met, well, I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, if I do like see a celebrity, like sometimes I'm just kind of scared to like bother them because I don't know. I don't want to get, it might be having a bad day and he just like cuss me out.
Unload on you. Yeah. That's when I met Barry, I drove from here to Oklahoma City. And I specifically, I bought the ticket for the cocktail party to meet Barry Corbin. That was the only reason I was there. And I circled him about 4 times before.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't get my nerve up. My Ronnie, that friend of mine, this casting director, she knows him. And she was like, what are you doing? I'm trying to get my nerve up to meet Barry Corbin. She goes, come here. And she pushed me over there. So I was like, oh, okay. But I didn't know how to. I was like you said, I didn't want him to unload on me. I didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't know he wouldn't, and so, but
it's so crazy, like, because you don't know how to approach him either. Like,
well, and I do know, like that person I was telling you about, that had to change clothes behind security. He wanted to be approached like a regular person. He wanted to be talked to like a regular person. He said it made him feel nervous and uneasy when people were like, oh yeah, he said it puts you on the spot. You feel funny. Yeah. He said, just talk to me like a regular person. So I did.
Cool.
So he was nice guy.
That's good.
But hopefully that film will come out eventually and I'll get to talk about it. I can talk about Golden Arm, I guess. If you wanted me to talk about Golden
Arm. Did you, real quick, see the trailer?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I've actually seen the whole film.
Oh, have you?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. Well, forget that question. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, I didn't have... It's funny because I didn't have a speaking part in it at all. I had a featured extra part. Mm-hmm. And the only reason... This is awful, and I don't mean to sound snotty, but the only reason I did background for that film was because it was a comedy with a bunch of women in it, and it was directed by a woman. Mm-hmm. And I read the script and was like, I want to be a part of that. That is hilarious. I want to be a part of that. And so my agent submitted me to be one of the wrestlers. And so I'm one of the arm wrestlers.
Yeah.
In the film. My character's name is Killer Katie.
Killer Katie?
Mm-hmm. And it was... I haven't laughed to that point on a set in... I don't know that I ever have laughed to that point. The way comedies are shot a lot of times, a lot of it is just improv. The director will give the actors, we need to get from A to B in this scene.
Yeah.
Go for it, or whatever. And Mary Holland is one of the leads, or the lead, I guess. And she's been in lots of commercials, been a lot of television, a lot of films. She's flippin' hilarious. She's a very laid back, funny person, usually the straight person, the straight guy in the scene. And then Betsy Sidaro, I don't know if you're familiar with Betsy Sidaro, but she was in that Adam Sandler movie not too long ago. The one about Halloween. Oh,
Hubie Halloween? I think that's the name of it.
Yeah, she was in that, and Betsy is hilarious. She is on all the time. Mm-hmm. Stuff coming out of her mouth, her brain moving. I mean, she is I couldn't quit laughing at her. And then Ron Funches plays her love interest. But also, he's the arm wrestling announcer.
Oh, okay.
And the scenes that I did with Olivia, I forgot about Olivia Stambouli is the villain, and she's from Australia, and she's been in Walking Dead, and she's been in several other things. She's great to work with, and she's funny. She's really funny. But Ron, one of the scenes I had to arm wrestle Olivia, and Ron the entire time is doing one-liners about me, making fun of me, my character, making fun of me just over and over and over and over again. And I'm having to stay in character and not laugh at all these juicy, funny things he's saying. And then Eugene Cordero, who's in Tacoma FD, he plays one of the referees, and he's also Mary Holland's love interest in the film. He's hilarious. The first time on set with them was when I was arm wrestling Olivia, and I had not met anybody. I had just gotten done with makeup. They called me out. I came out. The first AD, Seth, told me what was going on. Or no, maybe Jordan did. I don't remember. Anyway, they told me what was going on, what I needed to do, and everything. And I'm standing there waiting for, them to do everything, get everything set. And Eugene said, "Hey, I'm Eugene Cordero. How are you?" And I said, "Hi, I'm Lea McCormick, and nice to meet you." And I shook hands with Olivia, and I leaned forward and I said, I'm going to tell you both right now, don't take anything personally, what I do. Mm-hmm. And he's like, okay. And he looked at me kind of weird. And I was like, seriously, I'm really a nice person, I promise. He goes, okay. I'm not going to give away my character, but
Yeah.
when I got finished, he and Olivia both were like, what? And so when I got finished with that, the first AD came up and said that the director she was going to add on some scenes at the end of the day, some extra scenes that aren't in the script for me to do. And so that's when I ended up arm wrestling Mary, the lead. And we did more of the same kind of stuff or whatever. But I ended up getting called back. I worked on that film. I think it was 3 or 4 days the first week, and then 4 days the second week. And I originally was only scheduled for 2 days. So I felt pretty cool about it. But it was fun. I had a really good time working with everybody. I mean, there were so many, like, there were people I didn't get to work with, like Kate Flannery's in it, and I didn't get to work with her. Dot Marie Jones.
Oh yeah.
She's in it. I didn't get to work with her. Because they shot on different days than I did. I'm trying to think of who else, but I'm in a lot of the scenes, and usually front and center somewhere. But there's no speaking parts. I didn't have a speak, and what was funny is they told me afterwards that I could have spoken at any of those times, and they would have kept it. And I'm like,
oh yeah,
thanks. So. But Ahmed Barusha is Maureen, the director. It's her brother, and he's a stand-up comedian in his own right, and an actor. And he and I, one of the days on set, I don't know if I was getting slap happy from being tired or what it was, but we were doing this one scene, and he and I weren't in it yet, and we were sitting over behind the camera where you could see the screen and stuff, and he and I started making up scenarios of what we should do if we get called out to go out there, different things we should, and we got to laughing so hard we had to leave the room.
Oh yeah.
And it was the director's brother. So I thought, well, if you're gonna get in trouble with somebody, at least get in trouble with me. But he did get called out there to do some background work, and he didn't do what I had told him to do. So when I got called to do background work, I did what I ended up stopping the camera. They stopped the camera because they said the director couldn't quit laughing because of what I was doing. I'm not going to tell you what I was doing because it was funny, but it's in the film from what I was doing. And the girl that was wrangling us back there doing background said, "Did you know your wardrobe is messed up?" And I was like, she was the only person that didn't know that I did whatever I did on purpose.
Oh yeah.
And but the director thought it was funny, so it's in the film what I did. So a little piece of what I did.
I can't wait for that to come out.
I called my dad that night from the hotel and told him what I did, and he was proud.
It's exciting.
Yeah. I get my sense of humor from my dad. So.
Now, did that say it comes out April 30th?
April 30th.
Yeah.
I think it's HBO.
Yeah.
That's who's been trying to buy it for 6 or 8 months now.
Really?
Is HBO. Yeah, because I got a little spoiler. The writer contacted me. Well, the day we wrapped the film, which was another extra day that I wasn't originally scheduled, but the day we wrapped the film, the writer came up and asked me if I would be interested in expanding my character for 2. For the second film. Oh. So I told her, yeah. I said, here, twist my arm. But then I said, yeah. And so she said she had already started writing it, so I don't know.
Oh, man.
I don't know. I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope that all, people talk, but I hope it comes true, because it's a really cute film.
Yeah.
And I think it would do well as a 2. I think, some you don't need to continue.
Yeah.
But this one would be funny, I think. If they continued it and expanded on it, so
that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's freaking exciting.
Yeah,
Hit you up too.
Yeah,
for the
yeah
sequel.
Yeah, because I really like funny. I like doing funny, and so that's my element. I think is to do funny. So.
Yeah, Is this one like your first like comedy, you think? Or have you like done a...
I've done comedy, like I've done comedic parts in dramas, but this is my first comedy that's a comedy.
Yeah, okay.
Like in that musical that I was telling, that Nani He musical, one of the years, it was a different director, and she changed up everything, and I actually loved it. She had me expand she just let me creatively do whatever I wanted, and I got to expand on the character of the personality of my character. And I ended up in one of the scenes without having any extra dialogue. I ended up flirting with, as an old woman, flirting with the tradesman. And then it elevated to the point of I was chasing him around his trade wagon by the end of the scene. And he was running from me because I was trying to kiss him. Oh. so I mean, but that was it was fun. My husband was in the audience well, he was not in the audience every year, but he said he was in the audience and people were just laughing. Look at her. She's hilarious. Look. So I felt successful in that. Because my character in the Nani, my character was in her 60s.
Oh, really?
And so I didn't want to be old codgy, and so I was flirty.
Yeah.
so it was funny. But yeah, Golden Arm was a lot of fun, and I hope we don't get a lot of comedies here in Oklahoma, and I hope we do eventually. Yeah. I hope when, I think somebody said the other day there's like 20 things going on right now, 20 different films going on in Oklahoma right now. And I'm hoping the percentage of comedies will rise with the number of films that come through, because I really would like to do more comedies, which I'm willing to fly anywhere too, but
comedies where kind of want to head towards, I guess. Yeah,
that's I started doing the private lessons with Matthew Berry for the situational comedy. It's been 8 or 9 months ago, because I went to his intensive. He came to Oklahoma and I went to his intensive, and he saw that in me. And it was, I already knew that I wanted to do comedy, but he recognized it and agreed that yes, that's where I need to be. That's what I need to do. And so that's what we're working toward. He sent me a script the other day for me to look at, to possibly try to get an audition for a comedy in LA. So I'm hoping. I'm hoping, because I really would like. I've taken a couple of classes at Groundlings, and I want to continue that Groundlings comedy in LA. They're doing Zoom classes. So I've taken a couple of improv classes with them, which I've taken improv before, but I took it with them just to get an idea of, because Groundling is where like Melissa McCarthy went there, and her husband, Falcone, what's his name? They went there. Kristen Wiig went there. I mean, there's a whole bunch of comedic actors that went there. And so I was wanting to get an idea, okay, how are they different from other, places or whatever. So I'm going to continue to do Groundlings when I can.
Whoa.
I had an audition the other day that was a dramatic, and I played it funny.
Did you?
Because I thought, I probably won't get this anyway. My husband laughed. So there's funny in everyday life. I mean, who hasn't laughed at a funeral? For
real. Yeah.
So.
I don't think I've met anybody yet that like wants to go into comedy, but everybody's just kind of like starting out or whatever, and just kind of like doing things that will probably push them towards, So That's really cool you brought that up, about comedy, because I've never like thought of like as an actor, what do you really like want to push yourself into, because there's like drama, comedy, and
well, and there's different kinds of drama too. Like, I mean, you have NYPD Blue, you have your cop shows, you have your action films, you have Lifetime and Hallmark, and you have, I mean, there's just so many different genres or whatever within the, because there's the different channels and the different films, and they all have different personalities, I guess, is what I'm looking for. And a good actor should be able to do all of those things, and I feel like I can do all of those things. And I wouldn't turn down, if somebody said, "Oh, please do this," I'm not gonna be like, "No, I'm only doing comedy." I wouldn't do that. I would do comedy. I mean, I would do that too. That's what there's a period film getting ready to be shot, and Matthew, my acting coach, was like 6 months ago, but we weren't talking about this specific film, but 6 months ago, I was thinking about doing a demo reel of period films. And because I have several different, on my website, I have several different clips of different things that I do. And he said, no, do not do period films. Do not do period films. And I'm still not sure why he said that, but I'm not going to listen. Because I think I I could still do a period film. I don't think, no, that's not where I'm going to, excel, but I don't think one's going to hurt.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, and they were funny then, right? I mean,
what was that one?
Weren't people funny in the, but I don't know.
The Charlie Chaplin or something? Is that his name?
Abbott and Costello.
Yeah, Abbott and Costello.
Yeah, they were funny. Will Rogers was funny. So, I don't know. Whatever. I'll do it anyway. No.
Was Golden Arm like your favorite, like I guess experience maybe?
So far, I think so. On a big set, I think so. It's funny. I did American Gods.
Oh, for real?
The TV series. I'm in the first 3 episodes of the first season, and again, not a speaking part. They gave me words to say, and I said them, and they did not make it.
Okay.
So I'm just, you can see my shoulder. So yay. It's this one. No. But I had, as far, Golden Arm was, that set was funny. I mean, it was hot. It was long hours, but I laughed the entire time. American Gods was an eye-opener. I learned a lot on that set. I learned what not to do. I learned a lot about actors that are higher level than I am at this point. And Ricky Whittle is the lead in American Gods. I don't know if you know who he is.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. Well, we were at the Drummond Ranch. That's where we shot some of our scenes, was the highway out at the Drummond Ranch. And our base camp was on the south side of the ranch. And they had all the tents and everything set up, and we were out there, and the car that's in American Gods, that big black car, they have 2 of them. And one of them, they were doing highway shots, like exterior shots. And so they were shooting that one going up and down the highway. And so they had, at base camp, they had our porta potties and like backgrounds tent and, all our second class citizen area, whatever you call it. And, our rocks and dirt that we sat on, and, and the crackers they'd throw. Yeah. But anyway, down toward the highway, they had the portable bathroom for the leads. and their little tent thing or whatever to cool off in. Well, this is how you meet people on a film set. I was getting bored sitting in that tent, and I had been there since the casting director called me at 1:30 in the morning and said I needed to be there by 6. Well, I lived almost 2 hours from there. So I had to leave at 2:30 to get there. God, yeah. So I got an hour sleep. So, and I didn't know how long I was going to be there. And so I was trying to not fall asleep. And so I was walking around and stuff, and I was getting loopy. Man. And I was walking up and down this dirt road that went from the highway where they were shooting down to our base camp. And I was just walking back and forth just to keep active and not fall asleep. And, you know, and I'm walking back toward base camp, and I hear the gravel, you know, tires going over the gravel, and it gets faster and faster and faster. And then I hear it not on the gravel anymore. And I wasn't walking on the road. I was walking off the road. And I turned around just enough time to see that black car from American Gods come toward me. And then just at the last second, turn away. Oh, shit. And I took off running and screaming out in the middle of the field, right?
Yeah.
And I'm hearing this, ha, 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 ha. And I turn around, and it's the stunt double for Ricky Whittle.
Oh, really?
And I was like, I'll get you, you know, and I'm acting silly and everything. Well, the rest of the day, I kept trying to find him, and I couldn't find him. I'd see him around corners, and then he'd hide from me and run off. And I was like, what the heck is going on? Is this guy a fruit ball? What is it? You know, he tried to kill me, and then now, you know. Well, then they all left, or not they all, but a lot of the crew. We were supposed to change locations, and so they took our porta potty and they took some other buildings and stuff from our base camp, and they were moving them to the next location. Well, they hadn't released any of us extras yet. We were still hanging out. And, you know, when you're sitting there for hours and all you have to do is drink water, and, you know, you have to go to the bathroom. And so we all had to go to the bathroom, and they said, well, we'll take you down to the end of the street where the lead's bathroom is, and you can use that bathroom. Okay, so we get in this van, and we drive down to the thing, and we get out, and I'm still looking for that guy. Yeah. And I mean, he looks enough like Ricky Whittle that I was like, I didn't know, you know, I didn't think it was Ricky Whittle trying to run over me, but I didn't know for sure. You know, I didn't know what was, and I had an hour of sleep, so I'm still kind of,
you're still,
you know. And so I'm standing down there in line to go to the bathroom, and I was the next person to go. And there were 2 bathrooms, and so there were 2 lines. And I'm standing there, and this woman comes up, and she goes, excuse me, Mr. Whittle needs to use the restroom. And I said, okay. And so I backed up so he could go in front of me. And he's English. I don't know if you knew.
No,
yeah, he has a very thick English accent. And no, ma'am, you go. And I said, no, it's okay. You can go. No, you go. I said, no, that's okay. You go. You're it. You go. You can go. She said, you can go. No. So we ended up play fighting. And I'm saying, no, I'm not going. No, you can't make me. And I started acting silly. And that lady is just looking at me and him both like, what the heck, you know? And he's like, young lady, I said for you to go. And I said, I don't want to go. And he goes, I'm telling you to go now. And I said, fine. And so I started stomping, and I went up the stairs into the porta potty. And this was all play fighting. This was not real. And I went in there and went to the bathroom, and I thought, oh my God, I just argued with Ricky Whittle. What is, you know? And I thought, well, at least he'll be gone by the time I get out. You know, whatever. Because he went into the bathroom next to me. And I came out. Everything come out all right, love? I was like, oh my God. Then he followed me down the stairs. Are you sure you're okay? Why aren't you talking to me? I was just like, leave me alone. And the lady that was, I guess she was his handler or whatever, she kept looking at me like I was nuts. And I was like, he's arguing with me. So then day 2 on set, I show up, and there's a guy that looks just like Ian Hines. the guy that plays the God.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, is that no? It's Ian. No, is that his name? Ian. That doesn't sound right. Ian somebody. Anyway, I'm like getting all nervous. It's his stunt double. Well, I was standing there talking to his stunt double. He was a really nice guy. I don't remember what his name was. But I was standing there talking to him, and I had my cell phone behind my back like this, just holding it.
Uh-huh.
And all of a sudden, somebody walks past me, kind of bumps me, and then my cell phone's gone. And I turn and look, and it's the dang guy that tried to run over me. Takes off running with my cell phone, laughing.
What?
Well, he don't know me very well. He didn't know me at all, actually. I took off after him and tackled him, knocked him down, and took my phone back. In the middle of the green room. And we're in Ponca City that day.
Oh, really?
And he's like, dang. Like, dude, I don't know you. You don't steal my phone. You're lucky you didn't get punched. And from then on, we've been buddies. His name's Terrence Julian.
Oh, man.
And he's a stunt double in Hollywood. And he's funnier than crap. I just love him and his wife. And he actually came and helped us out the first year for the Will Rogers Motion Picture Festival. He did a lecture over being a stuntman and gave everybody his history and showed pictures and video and stuff of his stunts and stuff like that. But he's a really good guy, but it was like, I'm going to knock you out.
Yeah.
What did you do? Well, then Ricky Whittle came in later. It was like hours later. Came in and he goes, love, I'm so glad you're back. And I was like, is this the Twilight Zone? What is the... But he's a nice man, but I don't know that he'll ever remember me, but... It was weird, but
that'd be funny if you guys met again and he was doing the same thing.
I know. I don't know if I looked like somebody he knew. I don't know what that, but between him and Terrence, I was like, and when we were in Ponca City, I had to stand. That's when I had my lines, and then got them taken away. I had to stand right next to Terrence, which was Ricky's spot, but I had to stand next to him 4 or 5 hours. And then because they were shooting and when we shot the first take of the first scene, I was supposed to walk out across the sidewalk and then onto the street and then get in a cab. And then my cab was supposed to take off. The director told Ricky to get off of the bus because he was getting off the prison bus. He told him to get off the prison bus and then turn, almost hit me, because that's how the timing was supposed to be. He was supposed to almost run into me, and then I go past him, and then he gets in the next cab. Well, I don't know if he wasn't listening or if he didn't realize that wasn't the next cab, but the first take we did, we both got in the same cab. I got in, and he got in right behind me, and I was like, okay, we can share. It's cool. And so the director came over there and he's like, no, that's not right. So then they decided that we should run into each other. And then I was supposed to say, like, watch it, bub. I think that's what I said. Watch it. Yeah, watch it, bub. And we did that, I don't know how many times. And then it wasn't even in the...
Didn't even make it.
Didn't even make it. That you see him get in a cab, but you don't see me get in a cab or anything. It's like, fine. You don't know. But there was a guy on set. This was funny. I'm not going to mention any names, but there was a guy on set that was that was not a stunt double, but it was a stand-in. And a lot of people don't know anybody can be a stand-in. It doesn't have to be an actor. It just has to be a person that looks like the other person. Because all they use a stand-in for is for lighting. Well, this guy had gotten hired on as a stand-in for Ricky Whittle. They were shooting interior shots of the car. And so Ricky was in his tent or whatever, doing whatever Ricky does. And the crew was setting up the lighting and everything for this shot. And so they needed the stand-ins for Ian, whatever his name is, and Ricky Whittle, Shadow Moon, to sit in the seats of the car so that they could check all the lighting and get that all fixed. Well, they had been sitting there I don't know, an hour or so. They were fixing up the, the lights and everything. And they'd been sitting there a while. And I think it seems like we had gotten some cloud cover or something had changed. Because at that point, like, it would rain every once in a while and stuff so they'd have to stop production. So everything was getting pushed back, taking longer than it should. But, they had been doing the exterior shots of that other car, and the back window fell out of the other car, the one that wasn't on the trailer.
Oh yeah.
And so they decided they needed this car to use out on the highway. And so the director said, why don't we go ahead and move that car off the trailer and take it down to the highway? Mm-hmm. And so Terrence, the stunt double, went over because he's a stunt double, so he's licensed to drive that car. He's licensed with the with the movie production company to drive vehicles, because he's the stunt guy. Mm-hmm. And so he goes over to the door and opens the door to get the other guy out so that he can switch places with him so he can drive the car off of the trailer and take it down to the highway. Mm-hmm. The guy in the car wouldn't get out of the car and kept saying he would drive. And Terrence was like, no, dude, you can't. You're the stand-in. I'm the stunt double. Yeah. The director said to get out of the car. Guy wouldn't get out of the car. You're not using me for what I'm super talented, and you're not using me for my talent, is what the stand-in was saying. And I'm over there laughing because I know the guy, but I wouldn't tell anybody I knew him. Yeah. And I'm laughing. And the director goes over and, what's the problem? And the guy stands up and he's like, I'm not getting out of this car. You're not using me for my talent. I don't feel appreciated or respected. And the director's like, security?
Oh my God.
So he got out of the car and they escorted him off the lot.
Oh my God.
And he was demanding payment. He was wanting, all kind, and it was like, dude, you're standing. You're not even going to be on camera.
Oh my God.
So I learned a lot from that.
Wow. Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah.
That's insane.
But Golden Arm was definitely, I think everybody that wants to be an actor should be on set as a background person just to observe the crazy stuff that happens like that. Mm-hmm. But Golden Arm was totally different. The personality, the of the film, everything was completely different from that one. That was funny. Funny.
How was that bar scene where you might have said her name. I can never remember her name, but she broke her arm.
Oh, Betsy?
Yeah, Betsy. Yeah. Oh my God.
Betsy is hilarious all the time.
When you watch the movie, I was in that bar scene.
Were you?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. It was because we moved back, and then like I was like, kind of want to see what it's like, at least. So I put in for that, and then they called me back, and I was like, oh cool, and then God, it was hot. I forgot what bar it was.
Was it that little? Or no, it was that other one. It was that little one. Was it at the?
I can't remember the name. It's by that hotel.
Yeah, I can't remember what it's called either.
Dang, man. I forgot the name of the bar, but it has like, names written all over it, and
it's in a long, like you have to go down a long hallway to get to it. Yeah, I can't remember what it's called either.
I can't
because it's all connected into one. Yeah, we shot there forever.
I want to say Ned's, but I don't think that's it.
I don't remember either.
For some reason, I want to say Ned's, but I don't think that's it. But
I kept hearing about, I kept seeing the calls for people to come to the bar, do the bar scenes and stuff like that. And I had already put in for the wrestler thing, and that I ended up working background, like in regular clothes background. They had me change my everything, like change my hair and everything, so I wouldn't look at all. But I had to be like, I was a body, so they would have me stand like over on the corner where you could only see my shoulder, or over or in the back where you could only, because they didn't want me to be recognized as one of the wrestlers. So, but I'm in the very last scene that we shot that was in a bar. but it's not the same bar. It was at a what do they call those? VFW hall.
Oh, yeah.
It was at
Those bingo halls.
Yeah, it was at one of those.
Oh, okay.
And there's a little bar in the back of this bingo hall.
Mm-hmm.
And they had me there, but you could only see, like, the camera came from back there and went this way, and I was facing this way, so you could only see, like, this part of this shoulder is really famous.
Let's interview the shoulder.
Yeah.
No, just kidding.
If this shoulder could talk. Because it was, yeah. And it was the closest one to Kevin Costner, too. So.
Now, shoulder, what was it like to...
Well, you believed it, didn't you, Natty? She said, come on, shoulder, talk.
Natty, you're being good.
She's a good pup. I love that film I was in Missouri called Lady that went to Cannes Film Festival. The dog in it, bless his heart, it was a boy dog, and he had to play a girl dog.
Oh, really?
So we had to watch for parts, like in different. It's like, make sure the parts don't show. Parts. It was funny. Make sure his parts don't show.
The dog's like, whatever, I'm getting paid for this.
Yep.
No, just kidding.
It was one of the scenes, I'll give it away, but one of the scenes, the dog and I have a moment. The neighbor, I'm still friends with him, but the guy that plays the neighbor was a really big jerk in the film, and he shoots the dog.
Oh.
And I couldn't find the dog. I finally find him, and I'm in the backyard of our house on the ground, holding on to the dog, crying.
Mm-hmm.
And the special effects, they had the blood, the fake blood and all this. The dog was a fair weather friend, because every time I would get to the point I could actually cry and tears would come out, he'd take off running.
Oh.
So there were parts of the film I'm like, because I could sit there and act like I wasn't gonna cry, and he'd be fine. But it was like he could sense the second the tears would start coming, he was gone, and he would wrestle me to get away. I mean, there was it's like, nope, she's crying, I'm gone, I'm out of here. I was like, fine. So he and I both ended up having that fake blood all over us. So, jerk. Co-workers.
Oh, man. I can't watch movies where the dog dies. I can't. I know it's acting. I know it's a movie. Everybody chill out. But yeah. I can't just like. I've built up so much like compassion now, and I'm older now, so I think a lot about like real dogs and stuff. So, or animals just in general. Like I can't like. I don't know.
Have you ever seen that movie called My Dog Spot?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Gosh.
Well, I seen that when I was a kid, and I didn't really think much of it. But when I watched it when I was older, I was like, oh, God. Oh.
My stepson, I was sick. Or no, it was when I was pregnant with my son. My stepson, he was so gentle, and he was really sweet. And he was I wasn't feeling good, and I was on bed rest. And so he thought he would do something nice because he knew I liked dogs. And so he brought that movie in for he and I to watch in my bedroom. He didn't know that what all happens in the movie, and I'm sitting there pregnant, and I just
yeah.
So yeah, in Lady, I have cried at that, and I made the film.
Yeah,
I mean, I knew what happened. Yeah. I know that dog is fine, but
yeah, but still, yeah,
it's just.
Yeah, it messes with me. Like I'm like, oh, that dog's fine, but it's like, oh God, oh no.
Oh, it was awful.
Like Marley and Me. I watched that once, and I was like, oh God.
No, I steer away unless I find out that nothing happens to the dog. I don't watch them anymore. I'm Can't do it.
What's that one? It just came out. It's with Dylan O'Brien. It's like a land full of monsters now. Dang, I cannot remember the name. And this always happens every time I think of something. I can't remember the name, but there's a dog in it. And I was watching a trailer. I was like, nope, not going to watch it because there's monsters and there's a dog.
Yep. No, thank you. No, thanks.
What's up, everybody? Don't freak out. But on that's going to be the end of part 1. And part 2 is just directly after this. So just go click on the part 2 of episode 9. And thanks for listening, everybody.